Welcome back to the Metronome Madness League. It's the BGs versus the Unbridled Nightmares in round number 12. Starly here, gonna go for the BGs, goes for a bulk up. Gonna raise its attack and defense. And then here comes the Wiglet for the Nightmares. With a Mountain Gale, which is super effective. Starly in the yellow already as it tries to go for an Aura Veil. That doesn't work. Both these teams are 7-4, a pretty good season for both of them. Here comes the Side Strike. Starly in the red right here. Wiglet is doing a good job as Starly tries to go for a Spit Up. That will not work, so Wiglet gets to attack again. This time goes for a Reflect type. We'll have to remember that as Wiglet will become a normal flying type now after that. Here comes Starly now with the Leafage. Oh, the type change at a good time as now Leafage was resisted, and Wiglet will knock out the Starly there with an Acid. Wiglet playing really well, and Larvitar comes out. Here comes the Wiglet with an Imprison that will stop Larvitar from using Metronome, so it will have to struggle for the rest of the match while Wiglet is on the field. Wiglet goes for the Sandstorm, which will only hurt itself. The struggle, though, coming from Larvitar actually doing a decent amount of damage. I don't know if Wiglet can live it. Here comes Wiglet once again. This time it goes for a Confusion that does hit the Larvitar for barely any damage. So Larvitar goes for Struggle again, and that will knock out the Wiglet, freeing up Larvitar to actually use Metronome now. So the Nightmares lose their first Pokemon as they send out the Tinkatink. Tinkatink gonna go first, this time with a Stomp. Not very effective against the Larvitar, but does cause it to flinch, so it gets to go again. Here comes a Sheer Code. It is avoided by the Larvitar, but oh, would have been a one-hit KO as the Fairy Lock is put down by the Larvitar. So nobody can swap out in this next turn. Here comes Tinkatink once again, this time going for a Dragon Darts. That does land, hits twice. Larvitar hanging on with 1 HP and gets to attack. This time it goes for a Trick Room. Trick Room, of course, twisting the dimensions. I believe that'll allow Larvitar to go first the next turn, so it can attack, or at least try again, this time with a Psyshock. Psyshock, not very effective, doesn't do a lot of damage to the Tinkatink, and Tinkatink goes for the Hammer Arm. It is super effective, but I don't think it mattered as Larvitar goes down. Larvitar is done, so the BGs will move on to their last Pokemon, which is the Alolan Muck. They will choose to Terrasilize it, turning the Muck into a Water type. So Water type Muck currently against the Tinkatink. Tinkatink now going for a Sunny Day, putting up the sun. Now will make Fire type moves stronger. Also weakens those Water type moves. So we'll see what happens as Psychic Noise is not very effective against the Tinkatink, and it prevents it from healing in the future. Keep that in mind. Now Tinkatink goes for a Terra Blast. It's not Terrasilize, so it does not get a type change and barely does any damage to the Muck here. Muck going for the Double Edge, not very effective, but does a lot of damage. Tinkatink in the red. Tinkatink's Pickpocket, though, picks up the Wise Glasses from the Muck, and it will go on the attack again, this time with an Assurance. Assurance doing a bit. As the Muck now goes for the Reflect, raising the defenses on this side of the field. Muck going once again, this time. It will go for Triple Arrows, and that'll do it for the Tinkatink. Tinkatink faints. Did a pretty good job considering it was up against the Muck, and now the Nightmares. We'll move on to their last Pokemon. It's the Tauros. Tauros' Intimidate will lower that attack stat on the Muck, and they will Terrasilize the Tauros, turning it into a Ground type. So Ground type Tauros versus Water type Muck. Muck with the type advantage. Tauros going first, though, going for the Air Cutter. Ooh, that did almost nothing to the Muck. Muck going again, this time with a Fickle Beam, chipping away there at the Tauros. Tauros now with a Hex. The Hex not doing a lot of damage either. They're attacking each other, but they're just not doing that much damage as the Leer comes from the Muck now. He's trying to switch things up, lowering that defense so it can do more damage, but the Burning Bulwark, Tauros protects itself. Now Muck may burn itself if it attacks. No, it goes for a howl, raising its attack stat. So it lowered Tauros' defense and raised its own attack. I believe Muck has a plan. There goes the arm thrust. That, of course, hits more than once. We'll hit 3 times here. Muck in the yellow. 4 times. So that was a 4 hit with the arm thrust, and Muck will go now with a wing attack. Wing attack, not enough to get Tauros in the yellow, excuse me, but Muck's poison touch does poison it. Now getting Tauros in the yellow. Here comes Tauros with a poison powder. Of course, that's avoided by the Muck. Tried to return the favor. It didn't work. There goes the acid spray. Not very effective against the Tauros, but lowers that special defense. Keep that in mind. Tauros now going for a Razor Leaf, super effective, and Muck faints. And the Nightmares get the win. They are 8-4 on the season. Wow, the BGs will go 7-5. Pretty good matchup for both these teams. If you enjoyed it, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more of the Metronome Madness League, and I will see you next time.